Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Kashif Booth podcast. If you're new here, each week I sit down with a guest and we discuss their career so far, the highs, the lows, and what's next for them. Today's guest is Pierre. He is an actor and creative from Birmingham. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me.
No,
Long time
thank
coming.
you. Yeah. Like I just said to you off camera, like I can't even remember actually when we actually connected online,
hmm
but I just saw you doing amazing work. You and like AR Ugas and Doreen Palmer Roberts. Like you guys are such like this little clique down in Birmingham, but making such waves. And I think it was around
hmm
like that time that I connected with you. So yeah, so it's good to connect.
Yeah, man. It's good to like actually speak and finally get it out there.
Yeah, exactly. That's one thing I love about doing this show is that like I'm able to just connect with like people who I'm fans of. I love the hustle and
Mm,
respect as to like what you guys are doing, and especially you guys down in Birmingham, like making such a name for yourself, is hard because everyone tends to come to London, but just to be able to see
mm.
what you guys are doing and now get to like proper talk to you and you never know, work together later on down in the line and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's what I think is really nice. So yeah, so it's good, it's good. So tell me about you. How did you get started as an
Mm.
actor?
So I remember, I think it was like early teens, around like 13 or 14. My mum kind of put me like performing arts classes over like the weekends and stuff. And it was just something to do. It wasn't never meant to be, like something to be as a career. So it was just something like to get me off the street kind of thing. And I did like performing arts classes on the weekends. So they would do like acting, singing, dancing, all the sorts. And I really enjoyed it. And then I think since then it was like I went to like Crescent Theatre doing youth theatre. So we did like plays like As You Like It, William Shakespeare, that type of thing. And then so like slowly building over the years, it was something that I was already accustomed to, but I never realized it was kind of like preparing me for what I was about to do in the future. So I think I be 60, got into college. So I did like BTEC on design, which was really good at the time. And then I went into like performing arts because that's where my head was going towards. And it's funny because going into that type of performing arts course, it ended up being a drama school, which I didn't know about and which they never told us. And so it was Birmingham Theatre School, and they was kind of getting funding from the college to like hire out the spaces and use it and utilize it. And since then, I kind of like got the tools that I needed in terms of learning the craft of acting on stage, how to use your voice, movement, dance, all that type of thing. And then I kind of like put myself into like the field of the acting industry and I throw myself into it. And then kind of started from independent projects, and then kind of like built my way up from there on. And yeah, that's how I kind of got into it, to be honest, really. Yeah.
Nice. That's really good. I love hearing everyone's journey from what got them into it. And especially as actors, like everybody started off young. It's always the case of like starting off young
Yeah.
and like following through. Or even if they have started their career as an adult, it was something that they were passionate about, but their parents were like, that doesn't put food on the table. So it's always good, like, hearing everyone's journey. So I really like that. So what's it like for you though being based in Birmingham? Because most people in your position, they would have like moved to London and stuff like that. So what made you want to stay and like what's it like?
I think I wanted to prove people wrong about the stigma that you can't be a creative and also be in Birmingham, which I think is kind of like a myth in that type of regard because there's been so much success here, so much things I've been able to land
Mhm.
whilst being based here. I still have a base in London as well, or like other parts of London, but it's like if you're willing to travel for the work and willing to do the work over there, then it shouldn't be a problem. But I think like having the kind of work had down here in Birmingham, it's just like everyone's trying to create the work that they've always wanted to see, whether it be on the TV screen or the film screens or cinema screens or whatever. So for us, it's just like we always want to create the stories that we want to see, and we're not seeing from being represented by ourselves. So I think even like sometimes there is a gripe when like there's a certain stigma around our accents, for instance. And I think obviously the only thing that's kind of accustomed to our accents or like TV wise is like Peaky Blinders. And even though that's kind of like one thing that's kind of been associated with Birmingham, there's so many great talents that are out there in terms of like whether it's in front of the camera or behind the camera. And for us, it's like we have so many great stories here. Why not utilize us? Why not utilize those stories or like merge like London and Birmingham stories together? Because UK is a very big place. So to kind of custom UK stories and blend them together, it's like there's so much more like variety and diversity you can get from it. Because if you look at America, for instance, everything's not just based in one state.
Mhm.
They have characters from many different states and many different stories coming from those places. So you'll hear different accents, like a New York accent, like a Boston accent, or like a Florida accent. So what I think the UK is very slow when it comes to doing stuff or merging stories or accents down here. So whenever I've been able to do that down here, whether it's been like a London short film and they were looking for Birmingham actors, for instance, or they just want to merge stories in general with London and Birmingham actors, or even actors from elsewhere, from like Manchester or somewhere else. It's it's different and it's helpful to the overall industry and to the overall scene, and it makes actors from Birmingham know like, oh, we're included in this also. We have something to offer and bring something to the table because a lot of us are waiting, a lot of us are hungry, and a lot of us are just as talented as people from elsewhere. So when it is like down here, everyone's pushing forward, but everyone's pushing to make sure they are doing quality stories that can stand against either London or either against like a UK film industry as well, or even a US film industry, because a lot of us have been making noise down here internationally, and a lot of us are within the industry. I have been in those type of projects, so we just want to see our kind of stories be told just as good as everywhere else. So yeah.
You made some really good points, and I totally agree because especially when you look at the Black British experience, they
Mm,
always tend to focus on London. Like
yeah.
there's not Black people outside of London, like Birmingham, Manchester, Liverpool,
Yeah.
Bristol. Like we're everywhere, but you're only
Yeah.
seeing the London perspective. Like Supercell's amazing, love it.
Oh,
But I saw
brilliant.
a lot of criticisms where they were saying, we want to see more about Black British
Mm,
experience across the country, and it's
yeah.
true. You just don't see enough of that. And because I know there is a new one which is created by the creator of Peaky Blinders. It's gone from my
Yeah.
head, the show, and
Oh, the town. Yeah.
that's it. Yeah, the town. Is it this town or the town? I can't remember.
This town. That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. This town, and even though that's great, but I feel like
Mm,
it's not really. When I first heard about it, they were like saying, "Oh, it's a Black British show," but I'm like, is it really?
yeah.
Like, because like, cool, you got like mixed race guys as the lead,
Yeah.
amazing, love that, and they're
Mhm.
from Birmingham. It's up there again, but it's
Yeah.
like that's not created by a Black British person.
Yeah.
It's not anything about the Black British experience. It's just
Mm,
a cool story who with characters who happen to be mixed race. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? And that's why I love what you guys are doing. You, Dwayne, and AR, you guys like in terms of like telling those stories because it's needed. And
Mm-hmm.
you made such I love the point you made about how in America they have like, oh, there's the Black community in Atlanta,
Yeah.
Houston, New York,
Mm,
LA. Like you
yeah.
could go anywhere and they have that and it's
Mm,
understandable. But
mm,
the UK is behind. The reason why it's behind because there's no money here. Okay?
yeah.
There's no
Oh yeah.
money here, and the government, they're not trying to put in money into our industry, so they don't understand it. But they're pumping in money to all the Hollywood studios that are here, but you're
Oh
not
yeah.
investing in like this industry. And even
Mhm.
though, well, today we're recording it the day before the election, but it's like I've not seen any of these political parties talk about the film and TV industry and how much it's
Yeah.
struggling. And this all plays a part. If there was a bigger investment in markets, right, then we
Mm,
would have more across the country with the different levels of representation. And it goes
yeah.
beyond just even like being black. It's just everyone. Like what you said,
Yeah.
like it's
Definitely.
London. and that's it.
Mm.
And
Yeah,
that's literally it. When there's so many different countries in the United Kingdom, different
yeah.
town cities, accents. So hopefully it's something that does improve. But this is why you guys are doing what you're doing, and I love it. So
Oh, of course.
that's perfect. That's perfect. So tell me about how it is for you as an actor, like working. Like, do you mix it up in terms of the roles you go for? Do you try to mostly get Birmingham-based roles, or like do you do ones what are London-based to do your London accent? Like,
Mm.
how do you kind of strategize your career in that aspect?
Strategize my career like based on like how good the story is, how good the role is, and basically up from there. To be honest, it's like that's the whole foundation for like a lot of the projects that I've been on. And if the script is great, then there's not really much for me to work with apart from just giving an amazing performance and making sure the character kind of stands against the script in terms of quality.
Right.
So for me, it's like it has to be good first and foremost. So I have to be kind of scared, but also imagine myself playing it from when I'm reading the script, if that makes sense.
Right.
So
Mhm.
even when I'm reading it, I'm already getting myself into the character headspace and stuff. And that's how already I know when I'm connecting with the character, that's how good something is for me. So when it comes to like any type of story in general, whether it be a Birmingham-based story, a London-based story, or even just like an international-based story, it's like it has to be good, something that I'm really really excited about. And I've been blessed. I've been lucky in that type of regard where I've been able to play different roles with like different accents, and whether it be an American accent, whether it be like an Moroccan accent or a Somali accent or any type of accent in general. I think sometimes the stigma when it comes from Birmingham is like, oh, um, we're just Brummies and we only have the Brummie accents per se. But there's a lot of us where we kind of, we give so much variety in terms of the performances that we want to give or the kind of stories we want to be based in or the kind of accents that we can do. So we shouldn't be limited just because of what region that we're based in. So even for me, like I've been a part of like many other stories that we can just look at my CV or my catalog if people want to look at it, and they'll see like I have been a part of those type of things, and I have um, performed against other actors from different areas,
Mhm.
and it doesn't bother me. So for me, it's just like as long as this project is good, as long as everyone has kind of the same vision and goal in mind, then we'll get on and we'll make sure that we give like a great film or a great show or something. So for me, it's like it's always about the story itself. As long as the story is great, then everything else will fall into place.
Nice. I love that. And that's the main thing always. I mean, you got Australians playing British people and Americans all the time. Like, so it's like, why can't you do it? There's always these stigmas that people just put into place where it's like you need to give people a chance, and
Yeah.
whoever is going to give the best pitch of the
Mm.
character that has been created.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I like that you said that. So you'll be fine. But you guys are breaking down the doors. As I said, I love what you guys are doing. So tell me about the RTS, if you guys don't know, the Royal Television Society Award winning film that you were in, Irish Blacks and Dogs. Now, I'm a Jamaican descent, so trust me, I know all about what our people went through in Windrush. So
Mhm.
tell me like how you got, a part of that amazing film and the success of it. Like what was it like working with Jack Norris as well?
Um, I think I think that was in the midst of COVID, I believe, and I've actually came across that film by accident. Funny enough, it was on his Instagram page where he was putting out a casting call, and I was like, okay, this seems like it was a title that kind of struck me, like Irish Blacks and Dogs, because obviously you see that phrase
Mhm.
like many a time before, like back in history when you look back at it. So I was like, okay, let me apply to it and whatnot. And funnily enough, it was really interesting to me. So we had a conversation, which was the audition, and we just had a conversation about the script. And he just wanted to ask me about what my thoughts were in regards to the character in the script. And I told Jack this was not even a selling pitch. I said this is probably one of the most beautiful scripts I've ever read. And in terms of the character and like the information that was kind of given to me from the script, I think the character was originally from a Jamaican or Caribbean background originally. So when it came to like the immigration things of what the character had gone through, I kind of said to Jack, "Oh, maybe we kind of switch this into more of like an African immigrant, so that way, it would be like I've never known of a Caribbean going through that type of immigration channels through those specific periods. So that's why we wanted to change it, and he was more than game to change it and change that part of the character. But once I spoke about it in the script and did the accent for the character and whatnot, he was just like, yeah, you're definitely the right fit for this part. And when we actually filmed it, it was like 3 days filming, I believe, and it was just a chilled out set. But Jack knew exactly what he wanted, and he was very specific with it. And he just had a really like great vision for it as well. And like even if you look back at that script, it was, or even look back on the film, even like everything that was in the script, he placed it in the film, and I was really thankful for that because a lot of times, you know, this more than anything else, it's like you've done a script and then it gets to like the production and filming phase, and then it can completely change, and it's not something that you initially imagined to begin with. But when we actually filmed it and then it actually screened on Sky Arts, it was like, cool, great, the job is done, and everybody's happy with the film. This is it. And then Jack put it into like film festivals. Some I knew about, some I didn't know about. RTS was the one that I didn't actually know about.
Okay,
And
okay.
so that was a surprise to me. So once it started taking different film festivals and actually started winning and started getting massive attention and massive great feedback, RTS was one of them. So we was nominated. So I was like, I've never heard of this before, honestly. And so once we was nominated, I was like, wouldn't it be great if we won and stuff? So this was just me hypothetically thinking about it, and Jack was saying the same thing from our conversations. And originally, I was supposed to go to the awards event, but I couldn't make it. So anyway, the awards event happened, and then we won. And then I was like, what the hell? What's going on? Like, I didn't know what to feel or to believe because all we knew it as was a great story, and then people really impacted and really like took it as their own, and it became really like a timeless piece and a timeless film. And it's even something that I still get asked about to this day about that film, even when I was just filmed the project recently. And even then, like one of the crew members said, "Oh, I recognize you from somewhere," and I was like, "I don't know. I've done short films or something like that." And they was like, "Ah, that's it, Irish Bats and Dogs." And I was like, "Oh, snap, crazy!" But it was just like that's the power of film and that's the power of story. So I think to that day, Jack Norris is like me and Jack have a great friendship, and even from that film, that kind of led to Jack recommended me for another film, which was called Baby on Board, which he produced. And again, that's another fantastic film, another two-hander. And again, it's probably just as good as Irish Blacks and Dogs. So yeah, so that's how we kind of connected, and we still have a great relationship to this day.
That's really good. And I love the story of it. I feel like it's so important to continuously tell the story of Windrush because, the
Mm-hmm.
history of, the racism and
Oh,
segregation and
yeah,
all of the stuff in this country tends to be swept under the rug. And,
yeah,
especially with the Windrush scandal,
mm,
the contributions like Black people have made in this country, especially since that time
yeah,
kind of go unnoticed, and it's
yeah,
important to continue to do that, especially Irish as well, because people don't
yeah.
realize that Irish were treated exactly the same as
Oh,
the Black people
definitely.
who came here. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of people just think it's just Caribbeans who came here during that time, when
Yeah,
it was Africans.
hmm,
It was like Indians as well. Like
yeah,
everybody came like after World War II, but the
yeah,
influx was just a lot of Irish and Caribbean people, and you
yeah,
need to continuously tell that story. And I like that you did it from the African perspective as well, because
yeah.
again, that's a rare story.
Mm,
You know, they were a lot, but not a lot, you know, in
yeah,
comparison. So yeah, most of the influx was maybe that 20 odd years later with
yeah,
African, more Asian people coming
mm,
into the country. So I just love that. And it's always good to be able to work in a space where you can suggest something to a writer director like Jack and
yeah,
he understand, you know, because he listened. You know, some people if they can't
yeah,
relate to something, they either have their vision and they're like, no, but you basically threw another angle
yeah.
at it and it paid off, you know? So sometimes it pays to listen to actors, guys. You know, they know what they're doing, you know? But that's
Yeah,
why
you
you're
try,
also
man.
creative, you know?
Yeah.
That's perfect. And I love that whole journey and that story. I mean,
Mm,
RTS is such a big award. I mean, a lot of people don't know it because it is kind of
yeah,
like understated, but it's very
yeah,
much like a critically acclaimed award.
yeah,
Like if you win something like that, it's because it has, you know, critical acclaim like across the
yeah,
board is high, you know,
yeah,
just as
definitely.
big as the BAFTAs. And that's
Mm,
amazing just to have that on your resume and on your
mhm.
portfolio. So well done, honestly, well done. Because is it
Thank you.
available to watch? Because I've seen you promote it for years, so I've never been able to
Yeah.
watch it.
It was available to watch on Now TV,
Okay.
and then it had like a few screenings in some film festivals, like one in America, I believe. I think it
Okay.
was it the Black International Film Festival in America,
Mhm.
and there was a few down here, like BFI. There was one for like Warwickshire Film Festival. There was a good few. I think Birmingham Film Festival as well.
Okay.
There was loads. It was
Okay.
hard for me to keep up with it, to be honest.
I'm sure.
But I'm sure Jack will probably do another screening for it. And there was one at Real Brum. That was
Oh,
the most recent one.
okay.
Uh, but I believe Jack will probably might do another screening because it's something that he always gets asked about anyway.
I'm sure.
So yeah, hopefully they'll screen somewhere
Yeah,
along those
hopefully,
lines. So
or at
yeah,
least another distribution deal so it can be somewhere so people can just watch it all the time, you know? That would be
yeah.
good. Nice. Well, speaking of like Now TV, you've been on Now TV in another film as well, called Birds. So, how did you get involved in that film as well?
It's kind of funny because
Mhm.
I don't know who said what. It was like I think just as I finished Irish Blacks and Doug, sorry, someone reached. I think it's one of the producers reached out to me, um, from from Irish Blacks and Dogs, and it was connected to the Bears production, or someone spoke to someone on that production and mentioned my name. I
Mhm.
don't know how this happened to this day, but they were saying like, "Oh, that Andre is really great," or something like that along those lines, and they really wanted me for this Birds film. So I was like, "Okay, then let's check it out again," and which I did, and it was again, this was a true story, and the director slash main actress that was doing the film and the story, it was about her life and what she had gone through with her partner. And once she told me the story about like her partner, I think he was black as well, and he'd gone through like the whole justice system and going to jail, gone back, and then I think it was a case of mistaken identity.
Mhm.
Um, from what I remember, it was like they went through a lot through that system, and they're still together now to this day. And I said to myself, I don't know how you guys would have lasted in a relationship like that, going through all those trials and tribulations, being in like interracial relationship as well. Like, there's so many barriers and things that are coming against you, and yet you still prevailed. You still got out of jail with that period. You're still together throughout that period, and your relationship is even stronger now after that. And I was like, there's no way I could turn down a film like this. It was incredibly powerful. Like, just to hear the story come from the person himself that went through it, and then to actually do it and to see how important it was to them, I was just like, no, I have to do this. So again, and hopefully I can like bring the story to justice. And I actually met not just the person, not just the director and the actress that was going through it, but I also got to meet the guy as well, and he spoke about what he went through, in terms of like the whole justice system, how he was treated, what he'd gone through mentally. Like, there was just so much information that I could like pick from it from that one conversation, and then I was able to inject it into the production itself. So for me, I think it was just as important as Irish Blacks and Dogs, and it was just another great opportunity like that to just happen around that same period. And I thought, I don't know what's happening right now. I don't know who's referring me, but I'm going to say
Mhm.
thank you
Mhm. Mhm.
in that
Mhm.
regard. And yeah, it just ended up being both two great films, both radically different, but again, both important stories when it comes to the Black British experience and the Black community as a whole as well. And even to like interracial relationships or just the justice system and how they treat Black people as a whole as well. Because that, I was just like, there's no way
Mhm.
people can see this and not be impacted by it at all. So yeah,
No, that's really good to hear. And I think when you're telling a story of something that's real, and for
yeah,
you to be able to speak to him, that must have been so great for you just to have that invaluable access to somebody so
mm-hmm.
that you can authentically tell their story and know what to tap into. So
Yeah.
that must have been so good because that's very rare. And what was it like for you also just to be able to play somebody's life story? A lot of people might be able to play like public figures or
Yeah.
historians, but for you to be able to do that for like a short film, what was that like for you as well?
I think for me, playing real life people is more daunting than creating a character
Mhm.
because like people know who this person is, whether it's a famous figure like Martin Luther King, which I was able to play on the stage on theatre,
Mhm.
or like someone that's gone through something tragic and it's just like a local story to their friends and family that's around. It's just as important whether how big or small it is because someone knows it, someone recognizes it, and someone knows the truth of what they went through.
Mhm.
So when you're asking these questions about playing real life people, it's probably more important than like a comic book character or like a superhero genre
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
anything that you're creating because like people are going to have something to say about it. And if you're not doing it right, they're going to share their thoughts and feelings about it, especially if the people that went through it are not involved and they're seeing it.
Mhm.
So it's incredibly comforting to know like the people that are actually involved are the people that went through it and they can guide you through and say,
Yeah.
this is how it went through, this is how they was feeling, this is not the exact feelings or things to say when it was going through it. And then that it kind of informs you of how to play it truthfully and respectfully while not also losing the essence of your creativity also. So yeah, I think it's incredibly important. Like every either actor or every director should have an opportunity to portray somebody else's real life story, whether it's locally or internationally.
I love that. That's really good to hear. I like that answer because it's important to share these stories, but just
Mm,
understanding how to portray and tell that story is equally important as well
yeah.
because people are connected to a lot of these stories even if they don't know the person personally, people are
Mm,
affected by the stories and they want to see it told in a certain way, especially the
yeah.
message behind it because of how it can educate other people and create awareness and make change. We've seen that
Mm,
with the post office limited
yeah.
series scandal, what was aired earlier this year. We've seen how positive that has been, from that coming out for people's
Mm,
lives and people finally getting the justice that they deserve. So I really like that. So
uh,
moving on, you've recently also worked with Ashley Cain, on an upcoming project. So see, this is what I mean. You guys are killing it all the time. So like Ashley Cain is no like small person. So
yeah.
like how did that opportunity come about and what was it like working with him?
That was like again, that was through like people that I previously worked with before. Gave it a heads up about this project that he's going to do with Ashley. So I was like, okay, then cool. Like, what do you guys want me to do, or like, what's the interest, or something like that? And he said, oh, there's this audition for like this villain role. So I was like, okay, I think he minimized it or something like that, something, but he knew it was a big thing. But he said like, "Oh, this is going to be something good. Like, I really want you to audition for this." So, which I did. So I auditioned for the role, and yeah, and then I think I sent it off to him, and he sent it off to the team, which is It's on You Entertainment. Big shout out to them as well. And yeah, and then they really loved like the audition that I did, and they really wanted to cast me off the back of that first audition tape. So and then I kind of found out like what the magnitude of this this project was going to be. So obviously Ashley, he's doing
Mhm.
like a range of things, and again, like he's like a legend in himself anyway. And then the writer was A.R. Ugas, so he was the co-writer on it. And
Mhm.
then the main writer, the head writer, was Jason Rothwell. So he's a Hollywood writer that did is it Polar? I
Oh
believe.
yes, yes, I know that.
So yeah, so it had a lot of great names like behind the scenes behind it. So we knew it was going to be something of quality. And then Craig Middleberg came on board as well, and then we had like a whole host of like um either some like influencer actors or like we had Theo Johnson that was a part of it as well. And then we had some like newcomers that was coming into it. So it was a great range of like established talent as well as new talent coming involved.
Mhm.
And when we filmed it, I think we filmed it like last year's summer, and we filmed it within like was it 10 days, 10 or 14 days? I think it was one of those two. I think it was 10 days, and it was like a very short period, but what we were able to within that period, within that time, was undeniable because it's kind of unheard of, especially doing like an interactive feature film. To do that many scenes within 10 days, it's a lot of pressure. But
Mhm.
for me, it was great to like play a villain role in that type of magnitude, in that type of project,
Mhm.
and I was terrified.
Mhm.
I was terrified because a lot of the times when you're doing a project that involves a villain, people want the villain to be remembered, but also people want the villain to be, um, a bit crazy in certain
Yeah.
type of aspects or intimidating. That's what they're expecting.
Mhm.
So I remember feeling that amount of pressure to like able to like play that type of role because I just wanted it to be so good. I
Mhm.
wanted it to be just be able to be intimidating for the actors and for the audience watching it as well. And I think when we had the premiere screening, I believe we did that, and I believe we've done that, and it was justified. And everyone kept saying about like, "Yo, that role right there, that was I can't look at you the same way no more." So,
Yes.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
so I was very proud of that, to be honest. I'm very happy that, and there was a lot of positive comments when it came to the film itself about the role. Even Ashley, like he only could see me as that character. After that, that was his comment. So I was kind of happy to hear that. So yeah, so it was a really great role to work with, like Ashley, with the team, with Craig, who I've known for like years and nine, like yourself, and was finally ever had the chance to like get to work together in that space. And again, even Craig, he just smashed it out the park. Like Tice and like all those guys, yeah, everybody smashed it, definitely.
See, I think it speaks to your character and your talent why you keep getting these roles like that, where you're not even having to like apply to audition or your agent's not doing it. Like you're just
Yeah,
getting it through who you are, and that
yeah,
speaks volumes to your character. And that's always key, especially within
mhm,
this industry. I always say that it's important for you to create genuine connections with people, and you never
mhm,
know when you're going to be able to work with them. And I think
yeah,
that's what it's showing, like, and that's how you want it to be because in this industry everything's so like transactional with some people, like you
yeah,
meet some people and they're like, okay, you're not giving me what I want, and they'll just like move on when it's like,
that's
no,
a
you
lot.
need to know. But it's true, but it's like you need to know how to network across and also up, like
Yeah,
both are equally as important because you don't know
definitely.
when I could be some top executive and you are
Yeah,
pitching to me,
yeah,
like
exactly.
that's
This
just
is it.
literally how it goes. So yeah, that sounds like a great experience, and I really look forward to seeing it. Hopefully, you get again like a sick distribution deal so it can kind of go where it needs to go. And I can see you playing a villain. Like I could see you. I don't know. You give me gangster villain, like American gangster. I
Yeah,
can see you playing like an evil Wesley Snipes, Blade. Like, I can see it. I can see it. I can see it.
thank you.
You got. I can see it. So I'm looking forward to seeing you in that role. Like
Yeah,
and I think it's good that it shows that you're an eclectic actor. And as an actor, you want to be eclectic. You want to play like all different types of roles. So that leads to my next point, actually, because I asked a lot of actors this. I want to see what this
yeah,
is. Are there any movies, shows,
mm,
what are currently airing or old that you've
yeah.
seen that you wish you could have been a part of? And this could be anywhere, internationally, any country.
Damn. Well, I'll give two then for the time being. Like, so one that's a Birmingham story. So the main one, which is a Birmingham story, which is Peaky Blinders.
Of
Uh,
course, yes,
I
yes.
would love to give like a perspective on that, to be included on that.
Okay.
Um, so hopefully, if the film's like still coming about, then I like your boy.
You know?
um, and also like the Black Panther franchise,
Mm,
that to me was always ahead of its time, and I've said this from way before this was even a thing for like when it became on screen.
yeah.
That was for me was like it was like the pinnacle of like black sci-fi. Before now, like the door's been opened when it came to
Mm,
Black Panther.
yeah.
Now there's Supercell. I
Mm,
believe it's going to be is it Children of the Voyage? With
yeah.
that's about to come out soon, I believe, and I think they're starting to cast for that as well. And then there's other black sci-fis where I know that's art that's in the works that people want to do,
Mhm.
which again, like there's so many things that are apparent now. There's so many stories, like even thrillers,
Mm,
like or like a mix of like or action thrillers like the Fugitive with Harrison Ford and Tommy Lee Jones. I'm taking it way back, but again, stuff like that where
yeah.
we haven't seen black people in that type of space, or even a black UK cast in that type of space. Not everything has to be gangsters all the time. I get it; it sells money, it
Yeah.
does well for like a certain type of audience. We get it, but that's not all we can do as UK creatives. We
Yeah.
want to do like dramas. Rye Lane, which
Mhm.
came out last year,
Mhm.
probably one of the best films of the year that came out, and it was a rom com. I don't really
Exactly.
like rom coms, but that was probably like that's probably for me like one of the
Mm,
most different and refreshing films I've seen from that
mm,
year.
yeah.
Again, and it shows because it was different. It placed itself in a period where nothing else was coming out like that,
Mm,
and I think sometimes the UK industry needs to realize it. Like, not every time people want a genre or franchise based film, sometimes they want a palette cleanser where it's just something
yeah.
small,
Yeah.
simple, mid budget. Give us something like that, and it will be able to just do just as well as a mid tier budget film
Mhm.
or TV series or like a high budget film.
Yeah.
And we've seen it, people are clamoring for it now. So I think for me, it's just about the variety and keep giving audiences something different. So that's where I want to be in that space. I think I went on a bit of a tangent on that
No,
one,
no,
but yeah,
no, but it was good. It was good. I agree with the points you made because it's like I like how we're getting to a space where we have options as like
yeah,
black people and black
yeah,
audiences in this country. Like you don't have to like everything. That's fine. Just because it's black doesn't mean that you need to like it. Okay.
yeah, of course.
Like yeah, and nothing is above a criticism. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like I just like that we have variety, like yeah, Rylan was great. We need more cute little rom-coms which are easy
Mm,
to make. You don't need to
mm,
spend a bucket load of money on it to make a cute
yeah,
rom-com.
yeah,
We've got Queenie, what came out last month, a drama series. Like,
exactly.
yes, a drama series, typical. We go through shit. Like, we're normal like everybody else, okay? Like
Yeah, even
that's
Champion, that was
oh
a
yeah,
really great.
Champion, so annoyed that it got cancelled, but
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you know, perfect. There's like
mm,
people who love Empire. I was like, this
yeah,
is perfect for you. Watch that. Like, there's certain things that people can do. So that's what we
yeah,
want. We want variety. And like I
mm,
said before, it goes back to how this industry operates.
mm,
Why aren't they making TV movies? Why aren't
yeah,
they doing that?
mm,
If you can spend 6 months making a 10 episode show,
mm,
you could do a cute little film which can just
yeah,
air on ITV, whatever. You guys can do it, but they're
exactly.
not thinking like that. They
Yeah,
don't think like that. And that's why people like you and I trying
yeah,
to change that because you're not thinking properly.
definitely.
Like this is how you can do stuff. Doesn't need to
Mm,
just be the same crime shows all the time. Like,
yeah, yeah,
So yeah, I get that. So moving on to the next point,
yeah,
who are some writers and directors, dead or alive, who you would
yeah.
have loved to have worked with or still want to work with in the future?
Oh, okay. Dead one. I would definitely say John Singleton. Uh,
Yeah,
he like, yeah, I think there's no more needs to be said about John Singleton.
yeah,
Like, he's
yeah.
probably like the staple when it comes to like black films in general.
Mhm.
Um, uh, Alive, Rick Famuyiwa.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Love his work from The Wood
Yes.
and Brown Sugar, and then obviously now he's
Mm.
doing like stuff like Star Wars. It's a massive leap where people. He's a black director that people don't. I don't think people have heard of that much. But if you see his films, you'll know his films,
Yeah.
and his work is great, like across the board. So I
Yeah.
think people need to give him more of his flowers when it comes to
I
that those type
agree.
of things.
I agree.
Then whatever directors or actors, director, okay, then Pinnacle would be like Steven Spielberg, then
Mm.
or Ryan Coogler. Um,
Mm.
and then acting wise, Denzel, Jamie Foxx, Will Smith, Leonardo DiCaprio, Jake Gyllenhaal. Um, oh gosh, yeah, like those like those
Okay.
goats.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
they're,
yeah.
they're the goat
No,
for
no,
me in
no.
terms of like
Yeah,
performance,
same.
star power. Like they did just exude everything that you want to see in an actor,
Mm-hmm.
and just seeing films or TV in general because now
Yeah.
Jake Gyllenhaal's in films and not films and TV. Sorry. So yeah.
No, we're manifesting. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
That's why I asked this question. I want to, this is goals, manifest. Okay, you
Yeah.
never know. Okay,
Yeah.
we live in England. Okay, they're shooting everything here. So you literally never know.
This is yeah.
Okay, so nice. So what else is like going on with you? What else have you got coming up or that you can share anyway?
So I did two feature films, I believe, which is with EMRJ Entertainment. So one is called A Woman Scorned, which should come out later this year, as well as another film called Zombies of the Third Reach. So then that's more like a World War II film, like it's more like a mix of like Overlord,
Okay.
which J.J. Abrahams did.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like World War, zombies, that type of thing coming together, which
Nice.
was very fun
Nice.
to shoot and stuff as well. And another different role for myself. And then apart from that, I am doing like another Windrush short film type of thing as well. Hence why the beard's kind of cut off at the moment. Um, and then apart from that, I think that's about it that I can say
Okay.
uh, for the time being. And then some other projects, I have to wait
Yeah.
because I can't.
NDAs are tight,
Yeah,
yes.
it's the bane of my life. But yeah,
I understand. Trust me, trust me. It's so
yeah.
annoying, but I get it. Well, nice, nice, nice. So where can people find you, to keep updated with your work and what's going on with you?
I think for Twitter it's Andre Pierre ____, and then for in Instagram or like Facebook or whatnot, it should be official Andre Pierre, and TikTok is official Andre Pierre also. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
Nice. Well, thanks, Andre, for coming on the show. It was great catching up and talking to you and hearing your journey and stuff like that. So I'm sure we're going to meet in person eventually
Oh
one
yeah,
day. So yeah, so it was
definitely.
good. Thanks again. As usual,
Thank you
guys, you
again,
can
man.
follow me, all of my usual socials. You know them. There's a bunch of them. And stay tuned for an episodes coming soon.